Hey, so this video was finished before the news of Akira Toriyama's passing came out, so I figured I should just pop in here and say something. Just thank you. Your work has inspired and comforted me all throughout my life. When I was a kid, I would get lost in the worlds that you helped create in Dragon Quest for hours. And today I marvel at how exciting and fun Dragon Ball is. That's what this whole video is about. You're always gonna be one of my favorite artists. The guy whose work I'll remember as being endlessly expressive and charming to the point where it looks effortless. But I know we both know that isn't true. I hope you know just how many people you made smile. And I didn't know you personally or anything, but I'm still gonna miss you. Rest in peace, champ. You earned it. Now that's enough doom and gloom. I hope you enjoy the video. There is nothing cooler in this world than violence. Believe it or not, both brutality and carnage were invented in 1984 by Akira Toriyama, but he wouldn't perfect it until 1988. Both him and his editors have been slowly transitioning the comedic martial arts manga Dragon Ball into a more serious story with intense clashes between superhuman superhero people. Manga readers just know it as, well, the next chapters of Dragon Ball. But for anime onlys, Toei had something different in mind, as they dubbed the second part of this story Dragon Ball Z. I can barely contain myself because we're about to see blood, guts, visceral, exciting bouts that are so compelling and captivating for so many different reasons. You start reading or watching Z for the fights. Hell, you probably clicked on this video hoping to hear about or discuss some baller-ass action scenes, and we will. But believe me when I tell you that this is far from all that one of the greatest arcs in the history of manga has to offer you. And if you think that's an exaggeration, I urge you to pick it up and actually read it. So keeping with the traditions we've established thus far, Toriyama doesn't waste a single second jumping into this new era of Dragon Ball. It's been 5 years since we last saw these characters, and not much has changed really, you know, except for the fact that Goku has a 4-year-old son, Gohan, who of course was named after Grandpa Gohan. Aliens are real, Goku is one of them, his real name is Kakarot, and he has a brother who is way stronger than him. He will also murder the son that we just found out that Goku had if he doesn't kill 100 humans in 24 hours. And Bulma and Yamcha unfortunately broke up. That's the big reveal here. That's the one that'll be on the test. We're still going full throttle in the direction that the King Piccolo arc pioneered. Super serious end-of-the-world stories led by menacing villains who leave a sea of bodies in their wake. Something new and interesting that's introduced in this arc are power levels. Every living creature has one, and the Saiyans, that's what these aliens are called by the way, have this little computer thing on their eye that like scans people's power levels and assigns a number to them. It's a very rudimentary way of approaching combat that immediately felt off to me the second it was introduced. In the original Dragon Ball, fighters who were statistically weaker could still gain the upper hand by using their brain and exploiting weaknesses. Raditz though is just like, oh wow, a power level of 470, what a little bitch. I was worried that Z would end up boiling itself down to this pursuit of larger numbers and nothing else, but thankfully it doesn't. It cleverly juxtaposes this approach from how the Earthlings, the underdogs, have been doing this whole fighting thing for 160-something chapters now. Goku's instinct isn't, oh, he has a bigger number than me, better go drink more stupid-ass holy water. No, he intuitively assumes that Raditz has the same weakness he did, his tail. And when Piccolo shows up and says, let's form a truce to get rid of this guy, otherwise we both die, a glimmer of hope appears as I begin to get excited. By the way, take a shot. Another villain is slowly transitioning into a good guy. What, you didn't forget to keep track in between videos, did ya? And I know it was never a drinking game, but this is Dragon Ball Z now. We are adults who do adult things. Now if you'll excuse me, I need to go ask my mommy if I can please have some lemonade. Oh, that's good. And expired. So before Goku and Piccolo jump Raditz, he notices that Gohan has a power level of 710 and chalks it up to malfunction. Before Goku and Piccolo's appearance reveals that the scouter is working just fine. If that's right, then he's statistically stronger than both Goku and Piccolo combined right now. As for Raditz, we don't know. All we know is that the remaining 2 Saiyans, making 5 in total, are even stronger than he is. Toriyama expertly delivers this information after Raditz lands a blow to the back that our 2 heroes didn't even see coming in order to raise the tension even more. Throughout this fight, Piccolo has to resort to using his ultimate attack, the Special Beam Cannon. Gohan has to reveal his latent power, and Goku has to die to secure a win on the worst that this new threat has to offer. I love how Goku's trusty nature, his biggest flaw when it comes to combat, is exploited by Raditz, which is what ultimately leads to his need to sacrifice himself, and how Raditz's massive hubris is what allows him to sacrifice himself. The fight informs the characterization while being entertaining in its own right. Welcome to the Shonen Perfection Loop, something that I, with no knowledge of whether it's right or wrong, will say that Dragon Ball invented, because I love spreading misinformation on the internet. And much like that last little joke, Toriyama probably felt the need to bring some brevity to all this violence, death, and hopelessness. I remember at the end of the original Dragon Ball, he felt the need to stress that while it would be a more serious story, it would still be funny. And to see that the afterlife in this world begins with a trip to the DMV where this big dude with a book that says who's who judges whether or not you go to heaven or hell is hilarious. And now that we've already gone to the God of Earth's house to train, how about we do a little more in Purgatory? Snake Way is another charming and fun location from this intriguing world that just keeps on giving. I want whatever Toriyama has that gives him these ideas, like, what the hell is that thing called? A brain? Shit, dude, I'd love to have one of those. Anyways, Gohan is no Goku. He's a smart kid, like book smart, not money smart, makes him more intelligent. Basically, he isn't a fighter, despite his immense strength. It's interesting that he of all people was the one who was born with such incredible power. And now that him and Piccolo are the only two warriors strong enough to stand against the Saiyans 1 year from now, we see the birth of a terrible, yet wonderful relationship. Piccolo is going to train this kid until he's ready. How, you might ask? Well, first you go outside, right? Make sure the place that you find is widely inhabited by dinosaurs and monsters. This is very important. Did you find it? Okay, good. I'll see you in 6 months. If you're still alive, I'll teach you how to fight. This guy is no Master Roshi or Mr. Popo, that's for sure. But remember my One Piece video where I said that old dudes who are super rough on the outside but very kind on the inside are the best kind of characters? Well, Piccolo is like 8, so he's not old, but he still does fit the archetype. He watches over Gohan and gives him food and clothes. He stops his rampage when he turns into the Great Ape by blowing up the moon, just in case you thought the rabbit goons from the original Dragon Ball survived somehow. And he does this all while huffing and puffing about what an insolent brat this is and how he won't be so easy next time, but he is. I love this character. Gohan quickly becomes a little badass in 6 months, playing with this dinosaur he ran away from initially by cutting off its tail bit by bit for nourishment. He's still a fighting novice as his training with Piccolo shows us, but the kid is going places. And he doesn't seem as scared of danger anymore. Goku finally reaches the end of Snake Way after 6 months and finds himself on a planet that is 10 times Earth's gravity, where he meets yet another charming and lovable mentor character, King Bubbles the monkey. Look at him, he's adorable, and then he like walks around and Goku has to catch him and sorry. So, King Kai. We don't see a whole lot of how Goku trains with him, it's mostly just Kai practicing his jokes. And as a huge fan of the 23rd Tenkaichi Budokai, I wouldn't have it any other way. We know that Goku can now use the Spirit Bomb, an attack that takes energy from living things. And he possesses a technique called Kaioken, but it's not really elaborated on because again, Toriyama is saving that reveal for the thick of battle, where it'll be the most impactful and memorable. One thing you'll notice is he uses a lot of the narrative tricks he used in the 23rd Tenkaichi Budokai in this arc, but like, way better. And to put the cherry on top, there's this one little panel where Fortune Teller Baba is like, yeah, I don't know what the outcome of this fight is gonna be, so it's like, if a fortune teller can't figure it out, you definitely have to turn the page to keep reading to find out, don't you? The manga artists really were playing this whole YouTube retention game decades before we ever were. And I love how damn good Dragon Ball is at it. By the way, all the other characters we've come to know have been training with Kami and Mr. Popo in anticipation for the Saiyans' arrival, putting them about on par with Raditz. Hell yeah. Vegeta and Nappa are our foes now. Vegeta quickly establishes himself as the leader of this merry band, making the fact that the first thing Nappa does when he lands on Earth is glass a city by raising his fingers all the more terrifying. The Z Fighters, as they're now called, come to face the Saiyans, but they want to play reindeer games first, so they summon these little dudes. You know, seeing them fight these guys off is actually really nice. I was worried that Goku's insane increase in strength will make the other characters a little obsolete. And while that does eventually happen, it is one of the few criticisms of this story that I was aware of going into it. It doesn't happen nearly as fast as I thought it would. See, even Yamcha's getting in there and doing some damage, and he's dead, isn't he? Yeah, that's our Yamcha. Now all I'm wondering about is who wore it better. Also, screw Krillin for trying to cover his ass and saying that he knew this was going to happen and was trying to sacrifice himself. No, dude, he was stupid and underestimated his opponent, as he's done in every fight he's ever been in. This is completely normal for him. This panel right here sums up who he is as a character, and I hate him for it. And I better not see a single comment saying, actually, Yamcha was being smart for the first fucking time in his life here. I don't want to hear it, dog. Krillin, at least for now, is not only relevant, but essential to this squad, as we'll see. For now, he uses a new move, that energy blast thing he has in Dragon Ball FighterZ, where he like brings the shit up and then throws it down. Very descriptive, I know. That kills the rest of the Saibamen, except for one. And that last one is used to show who among the Z fighters is watching after Gohan the most. I popped off when I saw that beautiful Namekian hand grip the Saibaman before it could attack Gohan. Oh, that's right. So the Saiyans recognize Piccolo as a Namekian, which is an alien race that can do cool stuff like sorcery, which is how Kami was able to create the Dragon Balls. It's a cool, like, retroactive way to explain this early Dragon Ball stuff. But who cares about that? Because Piccolo picks up the Saibaman and just... like, good lord, I grip my stomach whenever I read this panel. Then he throws him up into the air, fucking blows him up with a death beam, melts all his skin off. Remember last time where I said that Dragon Ball ignites that caveman instinct in my brain? Yeah. And this part of the story is somehow better at fueling that part of my brain than it ever was before. I'm so excited to see more. I can only imagine how crazy Goku is now, but because King Kai is stupid and didn't account for travel time, he still isn't there, meaning the rest of the Z fighters have to hold off Nappa and Vegeta for the foreseeable future. Nappa, being weaker, of course goes first, and he immediately punches Tien's arm off. Takes a self-destruct from Chaozu that doesn't even phase him. Then he creates a ravine that has no bottom to it. Then Tien dies, putting his all into an attack that again does not phase him. And I love how during this struggle we get more little moments between Piccolo and Gohan. Piccolo creates a plan that hinges on Gohan for its success. And when he fails to deliver because he's scared, he is harshly chastised for it. But the very next plan that Piccolo comes up with, guess who's responsible for making it happen? And guess who encourages him to have the strength to go through with it. See, Gohan has shown Piccolo kindness that he's never really felt before, and all of these little scenes add up to make this one feel all the more earned. Piccolo sacrifices himself to save Gohan from Nappa. I want to make it clear that even though these two didn't spend a ton of time together given the manga's fast pace, I believe there is more than enough buildup to make this scene genuinely emotional, which is why I focused on those moments so much leading up to this. That bit where Piccolo grabbed the Saibaman, that was like a Clanad hand slap for me, if you even know what I'm talking about. Sometimes split-second spur-of-the-moment decisions can convey so much more emotion than dozens of dialogue boxes and drawn-out scenes ever could. And once you get that right, the results are something that might genuinely make you feel affected without necessitating a slower pace to do so. It's wonderful, it's spectacular. I love these two characters and I really want to see more of them interacting together. And Gohan, with tears in his eyes, tries to finish off Nappa by using Piccolo's signature move. Like, call me a bitch, but this almost made me cry, dude. It's so simple, but it got me. And just as Gohan is about to be crushed at the last possible second for him to show up, Goku comes and rescues his son. Nappa makes a big fuss, but Goku completely ignores him, assesses the situation, and heals the friends he still has left with sensu beans. He compliments Krillin and Gohan for doing so well, then says, "No need to worry guys, I'll take it from here." And as Krillin and Gohan begin to protest, Krillin takes a look at Goku, and that warm, friendly face is now distorted into one of pure hatred and rage. Hell yes, I want to see Goku fucking murder these two. Watching Nappa get completely humiliated is glorious. Goku uses all the discipline and strategy he's honed over the years to intentionally provoke him into making subpar moves, forcing Vegeta to yell at him to calm down. And when Nappa cuts his losses and goes after Krillin and Gohan instead, we see Goku's first use of Kaioken as he breaks Nappa's spine and holds him up in this iconic panel. See, Kaioken is a base multiplier to your power, but it has the interesting drawback of being unwieldy. If abused or overused, it can cause your ki to destroy you from the inside out, making every time Goku uses it both exciting and unnerving. It reminds me a lot of the Berserker armor in that respect, and anything that reminds me of Berserk is wonderful, and I think you've heard me say that a lot on this channel before. Now, I know that our journey through Z has been extremely positive so far, and I just want to kind of say that the gripes are coming, but for now, you're not going to hear a lot. The Saiyan Saga is just that good. The Saiyan Saga is him. And as Vegeta blows up Nappa, as Goku's hesitance melts away as he confidently approaches Vegeta, as these two Saiyans stare each other down in this desert atop these rocks, I just want you to know that aside from the diminishing importance of our side characters, I don't see anything wrong here. I am in a state of bliss, and I am enjoying myself so much, rereading this manga and typing up this script to share it with you guys, or even right now talking about it into the camera with this guy. This is real. I didn't even plan to say this, but I really want you guys to understand how amazing I think this is, and how somehow it's going to get even better. In the few words they exchange before they fight, the ideologies that are at war in this battle are exposed to us. Vegeta is a prodigy, groomed from birth for his combat aptitude to be the ultimate killing machine. Goku is a low-level Saiyan who was shipped off to this nothing planet full of weaklings so he could be of some use to his people. Vegeta believes there is a gap between them that is insurmountable, but Goku retorts that here on Earth we know that even the most untalented person can outdo the elite if they work hard enough. Let's see who's right. Vegeta is instantly the stronger of the two, technically speaking, even when Goku uses Kaioken for the first time in the fight. But what's particularly amazing here isn't the great fight choreography, it's the unmistakable smile on Goku's face. Much like his bout with Piccolo, Goku is thoroughly enjoying this despite the grave consequences for failure. But unlike last time, we actually have an explanation for it now. That's Saiyan blood that runs through his veins. In the real world, a drive to fight like this will be farmed for cheap and embarrassing Twitter content. But here, it gives Earth its best shot at stopping total annihilation. The feats Toriyama's finest managed to pull off keeps escalating more and more. Just when you think you've seen all there is to see, he pulls out the full-page panel of these two Super Saiyans. Wait, no. I can't say that. These two very impressive Saiyans launching these death beams at each other that could destroy a planet. Goku manages Kaioken ×4 to win the beam struggle. And I adore this moment where Yajirobe sticks his head out and is like, hey man, you did a great job. And Goku's all like, hey dude, I am spent. There is no way that guy is dead, so you might want to run. And Yajirobe's just like, good idea, and backs off. He doesn't even try to be a good friend. It's hilarious. Plus the thought of Goku saying to a friend with a smile on his face that he is about to be violently murdered. Like, that's what I love about him, dude. In so many ways, he's the antithesis of a normal human, making him so inherently intriguing. Anyways, compounding on the escalation of power that we keep seeing, Piccolo's brilliant play to destroy the moon ends up being pointless when Vegeta just creates a new one with his ki. It wasn't the smartest move because he lost a lot of power doing it, but that clearly isn't what matters to him. The only thing he's thinking about right now is how this 2-bit low-life Saiyan not only made him sweat, but made him bleed, and that is a crime that his pride will never forgive. The Great Ape expends all of Goku's resources, renders his Spirit Bomb useless, and crushes both of his legs. Just as he's about to deliver the final blow, taunting Goku the entire time as if he's trying to repair his damaged ego, Goku spits venom back at him with a smile on his face, perfectly encapsulating everything he's learned throughout this story so far. He tells Vegeta to shut up. He beat him. He was stronger than him. That's it. But if he thinks that's something to be proud of, then he's gonna pay someday. What was that thing that Roshi told us? There's always a bigger fish? Yeah. I hope I'm making it clear that beyond the brilliant spectacle of these fights, this time is being used to expertly flesh out these characters and their relationships with each other. Krillin is still the MVP tactician as he formulates a plan to cut off Vegeta's tail that actually freaking works. Plus, we see how much faith Goku has in him as he entrusts him with the Spirit Bomb. Yajirobe proves that he can be dependable in a pinch despite it all, like I said in the last video. Gohan shows that he's still a coward who dislikes fighting, but he's more than willing to step into the ring to protect those he cares about. Plus, his powers seem to be awakened when he enters a state of rage, which is kind of similar to Goku in a way. That's interesting. I wonder if that'll ever come back later. But yeah, the following scenes are a long sequence of holy crap, when will Vegeta just go down and stay down? But once he finally does, we see this moment where Krillin catches up to him just as he's about to escape and tries to impale him. But Goku of all people stops him. He can't even speak right now, so he's communicating telepathically. That's how badly he wanted to prevent Vegeta's death. Why, you ask? Well, if you have to ask, you haven't really been paying attention. Goku is a selfish martial artist who loves fighting strong opponents, and Vegeta is stronger than anyone he's ever seen before. Even if he's evil, even if it means he's gonna come back and probably blow up the earth, it's worth it to him if it means he can fight him one more time. I don't know how to say it, but when I saw him about to die, I thought, what a waste. Speaking of waste, one thing I talked a lot about with the original Dragon Ball was how there was no real interlude in between big arcs. Things just kind of end and then the next story immediately begins. It worked well for what it was, but with the Saiyan Saga, I really like how it gives us the time to like regroup and debrief, you know? Everyone gets these nice little scenes where they react to the outcome of the battle. Chi-Chi is mad at Goku while she coddles Gohan. Roshi is frustrated with his helplessness. Krillin deduces that the Dragon Balls could be brought back to Earth even though Kami is dead. All they have to do is find some more Namekians on their home planet. Bulma is cynical about the plan, but willing to act on it as long as there's hope. Korin is an adorable cat. And Mr. Popo is as blunt and charming as ever. It really is a quote-unquote the gang's all here moment. And I feel like a story with a cast this large, especially with so many of them slipping out of relevance as we progress, really need moments like these to keep these charming characters fresh in our minds. Gohan once again proves that he's willing to be strong and grit his teeth when it really matters, as he volunteers to go to planet Namek with Krillin and Bulma because he wants to bring Piccolo back to life with his own two hands. I love Chi-Chi's reaction when he yells at her. She's like, "Oh, my little boy has become a delinquent." But don't worry, Chi-Chi, I'm sure planet Namek is totally safe. Just quick, in and out, get the Dragon Balls, and they're done. So what they don't know is that there's this guy that the Saiyans call Lord Frieza who is on planet Namek right now looking for the Dragon Balls, and he is also way stronger than Vegeta. Speaking of Vegeta, he's all better now, so he's on his way to planet Namek to collect the Dragon Balls before Frieza does. So what happens next? They die, obviously. There's no way they make it out of this one alive, dude. So go on home, there aren't gonna be any more Dragon Ball videos. Definitely don't look for one with like Frieza in the thumbnail in like a month and a half to 2 months from now, because it is not happening. I'm serious, and definitely do not subscribe. That would be the last thing I want. I hate people who subscribe to my amazing channel. So get out of here, it's done. Bye-bye. Hi, thanks for watching, and a special thanks to Silent Secondary, Mr. Chocolate Salmon, and the rest of my wonderful patrons.